Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do a stitch tutorial, and it is crocheted, but mainly we're going to dive into how it works. So I was asked by a viewer if I would do a video to help with understanding how cables work. So that is mostly what this is about. And we will work together through two different ways of doing cables. Cables are just very, very simply put, stitches that cross over each other. So if we had, say, 6 stitches in a row like this, we're just going to go some basic crochet hooks here. We have 6 stitches like this, and we want to cable them. What we would do is we would take the first 3 stitches and put them over the second 3. And when you do that, it causes this angle to happen. So that would be the second set of stitches. And then we would cross over and catch the first ones that we skipped to create this angle here. And that's all we're doing, is we're crisscrossing sets of stitches to create what appears to be a cable. So this kind of hopefully will give you an understanding without looking at the yarn, just how the actual stitches, you go from this way to this way, are created. And that's what gives them the angle. And then to get height for your next one, you work them this way again. And then you can also cross them the other way by putting the stitches on top, the ones on the left on top, instead of underneath. So hopefully that kind of gives you just a quick overview of what the stitches look like without using yarn. Now we're going to go ahead and go into using yarn. So what I have here is 12 double crochets. There we go. I have 12 double crochets. So I chained 13 and double crocheted into the third chain from the hook and worked my double crochets. And then what I did was I worked a row of double crochets. I did a cross. I crisscrossed a total of 6 stitches. So 3 and 3. And then I worked 2 rows of just regular double crochet front post. And then on the next row, I did it where it crossed the stitches again. So you can see where those cross. And then a double crochet row. Now I'm going to pull up a loop so we can look at the back of it. So you can see those are front post, back post stitches. So that's what creates these ribs here. Now where there's a break in it, you see there's a break in that line right there and right here. That's where the crisscross happens. So we can separate those stitches out. And there's 3 on this side. And if I turn it over, here's the other 3 stitches. So hopefully that kind of gives you a quick overview as to, basically the construction, if you will. Now there's all kinds of different types of cables. There's several cables in one pattern that all intertwine and create this like Irish ivy and all kinds of different stuff. There's many different ways. But if you want to break it down, all cables is the crossing of stitches, whether it be 2 stitches, 3 stitches, 9 stitches, it could be anything. It's the crossing of stitches. And now whichever side you cross them on, whether it's the front of the work or the back of the work, will give you the direction, the angle direction, and whether they sit on top every time or if they go below. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin working. I'm going to just simply work a couple double crochet rows to give us a separation between this here and where we're going to be working next. If you would like to work up a chain of how many ever stitches you wish, the reason I have 12 is so that way I have 3 edge stitches on each side of the cabling and 6 stitches to create my cable. So I'm just going to go ahead and work this regular double crochet row as if we were just starting the pattern. Here we go, almost there. I'll double check my stitch count just to make sure that I have 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now, I want to point out before I go any further, I want you to remember one thing when you're working cables into a pattern. When you work cables, it's going to shrink the overall width of the project. So here I have 12 standard double crochets, and here I have 12 crochets, but using the cable pattern. So you can see how it's much narrower than up here. Okay, because you're crisscrossing, so you're pulling those sides in towards each other. All right, so once you have your 12 double crochets, or how many ever you decided to go with, we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and for my swatch of 12 stitches, I'm going to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. With my turning chain and those 2 double crochets, it gives me my first 3 stitches. Row 1, we need to front post double crochet the next 6 stitches because I will be working over 6 stitches for this cable demonstration. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I have 3 edge stitches remaining, so I'm going to place 1 double crochet in each of the remaining 3 stitches. Then I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. Now I'm going to be on the wrong side of my work. And I'm going to create some height here. So we're going to go 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches to give our 3 edge stitches. Now I'm going to back post double crochet each of the next 6 stitches. So I'm just creating height by doing 1 more row of either front post or back post, whichever side you're on. And once you have those back post double crochets created, we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the last 3 stitches. All right, now we need to chain 2 and turn our work. And we're going to create our first part of a cable. 1, 2, turn our work, 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches for our edge stitches. All right, so our 6 stitches as they stand are now going to cross. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 and work the next 3 stitches. That gives our first diagonal stitches. So skipping 1, 2, 3 and front post double crochet each of the next 3 stitches in order. There we go. All right, so that will be our first set of diagonal stitches. You see how it's pulling it to the right. Now we're going to do the second half of the cable, which will create the opposite diagonal. So we're going to go back and we're going to work our 3 skipped front post double crochets, starting with the first stitch skipped. So we're going to go to the front of our work this time and front post double crochet. Let's catch the next one, front post double crochet, and the last one, front post double crochet. So we went back and worked the first 3 skip stitches. Okay, so it's kind of a little joined mess here right now. But when you grab the corner of your swatch and pull the work towards your next stitch, we have a crisscross that happens. That's the first part of your cable. So now we're going to work those last 3, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and this is what we have on the back side here. You can look from the top. You got this zigzag effect going on. Here's the back. Okay, so 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. That's our starting stitches, our edge. Now we need to place 1 back post double crochet around each of the next 6 stitches. And you're like, Spring, how am I supposed to get there? Well, take and separate the 3 stitches on the back and 3 stitches on the front. We're going to back post double crochet these 3 stitches first. They are the new stitches on this side of the work. So if you want to tip it up so you can see those stitches, we're going to work the first one first, then the second one, then the third one, and then we move it out of the way and we work the second 3 stitches. So let's go ahead and get these front ones, and sometimes it helps just to grab hold of those 3 stitches and turn your work up on in so you can see. And we're going to back post double crochet. So I'm going in like this, and if we look at it from this direction, it is a back post double crochet. Then we're going to catch that next one. And 1 more. That's the first 3. Back post double crochet. Now we're going to work the next 3, which is the second part of that twist there. So now we need to work these 3 stitches, starting with the very next stitch, back post double crochet. Those are sometimes a little easier to get to than the first 3. But pulling them apart and actually looking at them really helps distinguish what stitches are what. Like that. All right, let's go ahead and place 1 double crochet into each of the last 3 stitches. Chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. And now you can see where we have that crisscross finished. So now I'm going to go ahead and scoot back out in view a little here. And we're going to go ahead and work the next. Now you can make the height of your cable as much as you want. You can continue working front post, back post, double crochets for, you know, a little bit more height if you wish, or you can, as we're going to do now, do yet another crisscross of these 6 stitches. All right, so we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then, as I said, we were going to crisscross once again. So we're going to reach over, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and work the next 3 stitches. So I'm going to front post double crochet each of the 4th, 5th, and 6th stitch of our cable. Just like that. Now we're going to go back and catch the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in order and front post double crochet each of those. And then place 1 double crochet in each of the remaining 3 stitches of your row. Now, before we go any further, I want to show you what that looks like at this present moment. Once again, you see this crisscross going on of stitches. And here we are, crisscross. It looks like a jumbled mess right now. So now we're going to chain 1, 2, and we're going to fix that. We're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And we're going to back post double crochet each of the next 6 stitches. Now remember, you have a new set of 3 stitches over here to work from first. So we're going to back post double crochet, and if you turn it up where you can see the right side of your work, it does make it easier to see those stitches. So back post double crochet each of the next 6 stitches. We're catching these first 3. And then we'll do the second 3, which is tucked away on this side of the work, on the wrong side of the work. It's kind of tucked behind those. So we need to kind of open it up so we can see those stitches. There's a little gap here from where the twist is. I stick my thumb in there to kind of separate all the stitches so I can find that first one I need to work. And back post double crochet each of those 3. And then 1 double crochet in the remaining 3 stitches, each of those. All right, I'm just going to turn my work over so you can see how it looks. We'll zoom in a little bit. There we are. So you can see those stitches crisscrossing. These 3 are over those 3. And again here, these 3 are over these 3. So this is the basic concept of cables crocheted. Here we are. I'll zoom back out a little bit. There we go. And then we had the separation here, and then another set of cables. I'm going to go ahead and do one more double crochet in front post double crochet row just to kind of level the playing field here on this row so it doesn't looks so bunched up still. So that's the first 3. And let me just go ahead and front post double crochet the next 6. So if you are unfamiliar with cables, hopefully this tutorial has helped you understand how they work. There's, again, multiple different styles of cables, different directions. You can make traveling cables. You can do 3 or 4 different cables crossing each other in multiple different ways. There's so many different ways that you can create cables. But this is just a basic overview of cables, just so that way you can hopefully get an understanding as to how they work and how to create a basic cable. Couple of key points to remember is, once again, your fabric is going to shrink in when you're working cables, whether it's knitted or crocheted, because you're drawing that fabric in by crossing those stitches. And also, another thing that you're going to create is when you're doing relief stitches, such as front post and back post, the overall height of your stitches actually decrease from a double crochet to approximately a half double crochet. So if you wanted to keep the same height, you could do treble crochets for your relief stitches, those crossing stitches. Or you could create half double crochets for your stitches that surround your cables and double crochets for your relief stitches. There's many different ways to work it up. This was just a request from a viewer to try to help guide and get an understanding of how crocheted cables work. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching and giving that thumbs up and commenting down below. Have you ever done cables before? Does it intimidate you? Has this helped give you a little bit more confidence in creating cables? Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now.